This should go without saying, but this one can get a bit disturbing, so be warned. Let's do it. The Human Centipede is about these two American tourists, Lindsay and Jenny, who are traveling in Germany. One night their car breaks down, and in typical horror movie fashion, they have no service and it's raining. So they go looking for help at the nearest home, which happens to be the home of Dr. Hader. There's a bunch of immediate red flags about this dude, and he ends up drugging them. And they wake up in this makeshift medical room in his basement. He kidnaps another guy, but then kills him after telling him he's not a match, but then ends up kidnapping a Japanese tourist named Katsuro, who is a match. So the doctor explains to them how he is a world-renowned expert in separating Siamese twins, but he has higher hopes. He wants to move on to bigger and better things. So he has this goal of creating a human centipede where he connects people from mouth to anus. He tried it with dogs and it didn't really work well, so now he's moving on to humans. Now, there's a scene where Lindsay escapes and almost makes it, but she is ultimately caught by the doctor. So as a punishment, he tells her that he is now going to put her in the middle of the centipede. Honestly, this is one of those movies where you don't see a whole lot and your mind fills in the blanks, but at this point, he performs surgery. Katsuro's at the front, Lindsay is in the middle, and Jenny is at the end. So the ones with their mouths attached, he removes their teeth and their lips, and he also cuts a ligament in all of their knees so they can't get up. So the experiment is complete, they're all awake, and there's this weird sequence where the doctor is just taking photos of them and basically trying to train them as his pet. The doctor forces Katsuro to eat dog food, which then leads him to exert himself in a way that people do after eating. And obviously there's only one place for that to go. Katsuro, being the only one who can speak, starts trying to scream for help, but then the doctor threatens to remove all their vocal cords. The three of them at this point make an attempt to escape, but they are unsuccessful. At this point, the doctor realizes that Jenny, who is in the back of the centipede, is dying from sepsis, and we see this gross footage of her mouth wounds. Now, one day, a couple detectives show up at the house because they are investigating the disappearances of the three tourists because they found Lindsay and Jenny's car not far away. And the doctor comes up with the great idea that Jenny is dying anyway, so he's just going to remove her from the centipede and then make a 4-person centipede, adding them onto it. So he tries to drug them with water like he did Lindsay and Jenny, but they notice that there's something in it. So they're now like, okay, something's up, we're going to leave and we're going to get a search warrant. So at this point, the three of them try to escape again, and Katsuro is actually able to attack the doctor at this point. But then I think kind of realizing that there's really no way out of this, he ends up telling the doctor that he deserves his fate because he treated his family poorly and then slits his own throat and dies. So now we have a dead Katsuro, a dying Jenny, and a very alive Lindsay in the middle. The detectives end up coming back with a search warrant, but at this point the doctor is injured from being attacked by Katsuro, so he's hiding. One of the detectives ends up finding the medical room while the other one searches the house. The one who's searching the house actually did have a sip of water earlier, so is now starting to feel ill from the drugs. And while he's kind of out of it, the doctor comes up and stabs him and kills him with a scalpel. And then the doctor uses that detective's gun to shoot and kill the other detective. After murdering them, the doctor succumbs to his injuries and dies. The final shot we see is Lindsay holding hands with Jenny as Jenny slowly dies of sepsis. And Lindsay sobs, now being the only one left alive in the centipede with nobody knowing that she's there. And she is left alone, and we never find out if she is saved or if anybody ever finds her.